Hello, I am Nina and welcome to my design process for my book cover project. I chose the word for world is forest written by Ursula K. Le Guin to design my book cover as I have grown a liking of the author's previous works. As I did a bit of research on the current book cover for the word for world is forest, I realized that the color scheme for most of these covers are dark blue and green. This is reflected by the novel's dark theme of its resistance and environmentalism. In my opinion, these book covers look classic and depict what the story is all about. So I thought of preserving the foresty idea and incorporating my perspective after reading the book. I began my design process by making a mood board with photos I could find on Pinterest. I feel like I can imagine the book having a dark forest theme, and the resistance and oppressions received by the Afghans remind me of locks and chains. Illegal logging that has been done by the human colonies is also one of the themes that I want to put into my design. One of the quotes that had caught my interest from the book is the right to have a country of their own, a forest to live in, a world to inhabit and live out their own lives, not to be displaced by earthmen or rusty men from the city. As I like to visualize my idea from the keywords that I could obtain from the story, I came out with the words colonialism, oppression, nature, illegal logging, forest exploitation, and environmental issues. With a concept in mind, I chose a color palette that could resemble the Afghan forest that has a green and dark mood. My idea is to use this photo of a fallen tree with a chain locked to it to show the oppression received by the Afghans. I chose a typography that is bold and easily readable. The font gives me a classic mood that I want to maintain from the original book. I added some mushrooms at the bottom part of the page that is significant in the book, has an alien genre, and resembles hope for the Afghans. The medium that I use for this is Procreate and Adobe Illustrator. I like to explore out of my comfort zone a bit, so I tried using watercolor, but I do not really like how it doesn't really have a texture on the picture that I have drawn. In this time lapse, I chose to use acrylic paint instead of watercolor paint. This is because the paint gives a lot of texture to my drawing. I start out by painting a dark blue background for the sky and a brown greenish color for the bottom part of the painting. After letting the paint dry, I could start drawing the bark of the tree and adding more details to the painting. It was a long process, and acrylic paint lets me fix up any mess I have made when the paint has dried. I feel like I can show more feelings and emotions towards the drawing. This is the final look of my painting to use as my book cover. I added some stars onto the sky as well, as I like a bit of negative space to put on my typography later. I used Adobe Photoshop using the clone stamp to create a bigger space for the design. This is the final look of my book cover. With the same colors in mind, I used the Procreate app on my iPad to draw out the back cover and spine. I try not to add too much visuals into the back as I don't want it to be too distracting. I played around with gradient color to make the sky a bit darker on Adobe Illustrator. This is the design of the poster that I have, and I tried to make it as complementary as possible with an Afghan looking out into a distracted forest. I also put in the quote that I really like from the book into the poster. This is one of the mock ups that I edited out for the poster. And in the end, I really like this project, and I love exploring colors and themes from a storyline of a book. And that's all for today.